Hi, everybody, and this is Dear Mama Sal on a Friday lunchtime, which means it's time for us to talk about coping with feelings. And for those of you who might be new to the broadcast, watching it on the replay, just to let you know that we at Dear Mama Sal are a group of incredibly dedicated people. We meet 3 times a week to help one another cope with life as it is, not as we wish it to be, but as it is. And that is a really big challenge for a lot of people, to let go of what they wish had happened, or it should have happened, or it could have happened, and just deal with life every day as it is. And in that, you will find the most incredible happiness. And so coping with feelings is a really important part of that. On the Friday evenings, we talk about coping with life in general and all that life throws at us. And then on Sunday afternoon, we actually do another broadcast, which is coping with stress. So if you ever have feelings, if you have to deal with life or deal with stress, you've come to the right place. Hi, Jody. And for those of you who don't know Jody, Jody is our admin who does a wonderful job of supporting me and also a lot of the viewers. And so, Jody, thank you so much for everything. I thought I'd just, again, remind everybody that coping means to invest one's own conscious effort to solve personal and interpersonal problems in order to try and master, minimize, and tolerate stress and conflict. Now, every week, I'm going to be reminding us that that's what coping is about. It's not about, it's about working on it, right? It's not about perfection. It is about working on it. Am I doing better at it? So for those of you who might be watching in the background, welcome. And feel free to participate if you choose to. Just please make sure that you understand that whilst after the broadcast, I will take down, if I remember, I will take down the live chat comments. The comments that I make stay on the replay. And so if you do join, and we welcome everybody to do that, just make sure that you understand that if you don't want me to talk about it, then just make a note about that at the beginning. Because, if you put it at the end of what you've said, I probably am halfway through it before I realize that there's a do not talk about this on it. So for those of you who might have a subject about which you'd like me to speak, please contact me at dearmamasal@gmail.com. And also do that if you'd like any help on anything. I work really hard at answering everybody. It's something that I made a commitment to right at the beginning. And some days it's more difficult than others to get them done in time. But, most of the time I will answer within a day. So Dear Mama Sal is a group of people who are like your extended family. They're a group of people who care and people who grow emotionally week by week. And I can assure you that this week I had to cope with a lot of feelings of fear, but particularly I had to cope with this feeling of a threat to my life, if you like. I was dragged by my car, and I'll talk a little bit more about that later. But I cannot tell you the feelings that flashed through my mind when that happened. Before I get on to dealing with this week's feelings, I thought I'd give you some little comments that came through on the mailbox. Let me see if I can get this one. Just want to minimize that a bit. This one came from Terry, and this was about the video I did about the tour of this apartment that I'm in. For those of you who don't know, I had a house fire. It's been, my last 4 weeks have been incredibly stressful on all sorts of levels, but my house fire was so bad that I'm living in rented apartment at the moment until they can start doing the rebuild of my house. And then I did a tour of this apartment that I'm in, and Terry wrote to me and said, "I'd love it there. I have zero knickknacks. I don't know about you, but one of the things I said, the reason that these apartments look so tidy is there's nothing personal in it. You know what I mean? It's just like, and every space is clean and tidy. It's a lesson. But she's saying my mindset is less to clean. She doesn't like cleaning clutter. So she said, but my husband of 35 years is the total opposite. He likes his stuff. Not an empty wall space in our home. No empty surfaces. I'm always updating my bedroom. I'm in the process of updating my bedroom that was my daughter's. And she moved out a few years ago, and she decided that was going to be her room. And she picked out the colors and everything and the flooring and did all those sort of things and set up a desk area and to organize a large closet full of art supplies and I think craft supplies. Very simplistic. Her husband took over the son's room and filled it with clutter. She said, no other way to describe it. Hunting gear, a stockpile of household stuff, not an empty wall space. Makes me cringe to go in there. But, the point is they've been married 35 years. And she said, really, as long as they individually, let's see if I can get that quote up better. There we go. And she said, it makes me cringe to go into that room. Total opposites, and yet we get along great. I guess we've learned to compromise and adapt. Isn't that beautiful? I guess we've learned to compromise and adapt. In other words, I am sure her neat freak tendencies upset him as much as his clutter upsets her. But if you get the right mindset, you can live together and be happy. And I think that's the lesson that I wanted to share with you. We did a little bit of a survey about asking the viewers what they use, how many of them reuse the dryer sheets that they put in there when they're doing the washing. And quite honestly, it was interesting that really three things people use them for. They use them for dusting. They're great for dusting computers and things, by the way. They are great for makeup remover, for using when you're putting on your makeup, either to clean your brushes or to, just, tidy up your eye makeup or whatever. And then the obvious one that people use it for is actually to remove the lint in the lint catcher in your dryer. It's a great way to actually take it off the mesh. So I thought that was really nice to be able to get that feedback, and I thank everybody for giving it to me. And I thought this was a really cute quote, and I would tell you, who it's from if I could find the quote. I looked really hard to find out where did I get this quote from, and I just couldn't find it again to give a name to it, but I loved the quote. And I thought I had captured the name as well, and I didn't. So if this is you, please, in the comments below, afterwards, let me know, because I really did want to give you a heads up on this one. Anyway, so here's the quote. It said, I wanted you to know that when I'm stressed and having a hard time, I turn your show on. It's relaxing, but more importantly, it feels like you're right there with me. And I don't know about you, but that made me feel pretty good. So thank you for the time. And then Nolene in Australia, I think she's in Australia, she wrote to me and said about the new apartment, I think it's very nice, but no space for crafts. And I'm very sure you'll come up with something, even though it's a bit of a challenge. You see, that is somebody that knows me really well, all right? That when she looked around at it all, she went, no place for crafts. Now, funny enough, just so that you know, I saw 3 different places to do crafts. The study, the very nice granite countertop, and also on the glass dining room table, because acrylic paint comes off glass very easily. You don't have to work hard at it at all. And so, and that what I loved is, and you presume I can get to my craft supplies. Yeah. And I'm going to probably be calling for my craft supplies pretty quick when I move, because, time is running out in terms of getting Christmas cards and things ready. But how kind that she thought of that. And Jan, who we always love to hear from because she makes us laugh all the time. Jan said about the fact that I had, first of all, the fire, and then I got dragged by my car. Her note to me was, "You're grounded until January." Gracious soul, seriously, you're grounded. In other words, she didn't want me to get into any more trouble. And I was out to dinner last night and celebrating somebody's birthday, within my part of people. And the funny thing was that, it was just so funny because it's like they know me really well. And even they said, it's incredible what has happened to you in the space of 4 weeks. And I said, I know. And then my friend Betty Ann said to me, "Doesn't it come in threes?" And I said, "I'm not even going there." I said, "Really, just do me a favor and let that comment completely go. 2 is enough." And I wonder, honestly, how many of you actually had that thought as well. And I'm pretty sure that some of you did. And I will forgive you if you did. I know that we've got a birthday tomorrow, and that's Kerry's. We still don't know when Nada's birthday was, but we do know it's sometime in November. So every week in November, I've been acknowledging it. And of October, sorry, it was sometime in October. And then I do know that Nana's birthday is on November the 2nd, so in case she happens to pick up on something. And then Izza's birthday is on November the 6th. So that's just making sure everybody knows when the birthdays are. Please make sure you follow us by clicking on the bell here. Put the thumbs up if you hear anything that you like, and feel free to press that as often as you would like to. And the reason I say that, because every time you press a thumbs up or subscribe or do any of those things, it tells the big algorithm that tracks everything that this is a program worth watching. And it's not about anything other than, if you find it of value every week, just please keep doing the same things every week, because it just helps people know that this is worth watching. The other thing is, when you press on the notifications, so the bell thing, and the notification, it's going to ask you, do you want them all? I would recommend you say all, that you do want to get them all, because that means if I happen to put out a special video and I make note of it for you, or if I have to cancel a broadcast or something, you're going to make sure that you get that dropped into your email. So that's pretty important. Follow us on Facebook at DearMamaSal, and Twitter at DearMamaSal. And the only thing, I'm on Instagram, but that's slightly different. The reason that on Instagram it is different is because somebody stole my name. No, that's not fair. That sounds like I'm a victim. The reason I don't have DearMamaSal on Instagram is because by the time I realized I needed it, which was about a week after I started, or 2 weeks or something, somebody had already registered that name. And so on there, you'll find me under the real DearMamaSal, just so that you know that. For those of you who are new, please understand that I don't have a piece of paper that says I'm highly qualified in things. And, in other words, I'm not a therapist, or I'm not a psychiatrist or a psychologist or any of those sort of things. What I am is a human being that's lived a pretty long life, luckily, and especially the last month. And so the information you're going to hear is stuff that I have learned over that space of time. And if any of you ever feel that you would like some one-on-one help, please contact me. And also let me know if you know anybody that needs help because they're about to go and have an interview or something. I actually do that as well. We're talking about feelings of unease. Did anybody this week have any unease feelings about maybe a new habit? I certainly did. And those feelings are sort of, like you get into a routine, and when your routine gets knocked off its kilter, it's a really strange feeling, isn't it? It's like I always knew how to do this the right way, but now I've got a new process and I don't understand it. For example, and I want to recommend this, this is a furnished executive suite. That means that they rent it out to business people who are coming into town for maybe longer than just a couple of days, where they'd be in a hotel. And so this is a beautiful suite. Hi, Kimmy. This is a beautiful suite, and every 2 weeks they have housekeeping comes in, and they dust everything, and they wash the floors, change the sheets, empty all the garbage. Basically, I'm going, you gotta love this. And a crew of 3 people just came in, and in a matter of half an hour, the whole place was done and they were gone. And I'm going, I could get used to this. And, and there was part of me that goes, when I go back to my house, I'm going to miss this. And so it was an uncomfortable feeling because I've got that many people suddenly in my small space. But I was very grateful for all that they did. The other thing is that because I'm in a new environment, I'm also dealing with new grocery stores. And I'm not sure about you, but grocery shopping is something you go in and do as quickly as you can and get out of Dodge. How many of you feel that way? Which is, grocery shopping is not something you linger over. It is something you do in a hurry. And I just want to do one check, which is, I hope you all find the quality of this broadcast better than the last one. I just realized that one of the things that I had to deal with this week was upgrading the internet big time. And I found out what the problem was. The upload speed of the previous internet was pretty low. I'll talk about it in a second. Okay, so Jody's saying, it looks fantastic. It's crystal clear. Thank you, Jody. I meant to check that right at the beginning, but I will talk about it. Anyway, go back to the grocery store. How many of you agree that, grocery stores is something that you sort of, get in and out of as quickly as you can, especially during a pandemic? But to me, because I'm not at my home and I'm not doing my usual routine, grocery shopping to me is now part of my exercise program. And I went to a totally new store, and there was method in my madness. If you go to a totally new store, you basically have to walk the whole thing to find the things you want to buy. And you have a choice about how you walk with your cart, right? You can just dawdle along or whatever, or you can pick up the pace, or you can go backwards if you want to, And again, what I find is that I do much better if I leave the cart at the end of the aisle and I go whipping down an aisle all the way down to see if there's anything there that I need, or going down one side, and I come back looking at the other side, and I go, anything I need, and I just stuck it up and then put it into the cart when I finish that aisle. And so I managed to get quite a lot of steps in that day. And I went to one of those stores that had more than just groceries. So, I bought a couple of other things. So that was fun. I also, did anybody else have any feelings of about doing something new this week? If so, just leave me a note here so that I can talk about it. I also had the feeling of accomplishment when I managed to bake bread this week and really do two things. I baked myself a really nice sourdough loaf that quite honestly was one of the best I've had. And I've got I've got a little Dutch oven here, one of those old fashioned ones. And boy, it did a good job of baking the bread. I was really quite surprised. And then, because I realized that I'm going to be moving probably again on Monday to the bigger apartment, but that I was going to lose that little Dutch oven, and I wasn't 100% sure that at the new place there would be another one. So I bought myself a little meatloaf pan. Do you know what I mean? Does anybody not know what that is? It's like a bread pan, but it has a lift out section in it. So it's great for cooking bread because you literally just, when it's finished baking, you just lift it out, and it doesn't stick to anything because it's already on its own little shelf, if you like. I did a loaf yesterday to take with me to dinner, and it looked beautiful. It's interesting. Niasha's saying she's trying to adjust to her new life. And she's saying, not doing great, by the way, but I'm stronger for it. Okay, Niasha. So just remember, as I said earlier, that this is all about a process, right? You don't have to have perfection. We are all constantly trying to improve it. And that's the question as you go to bed each night. I really recommend you ask yourself the question, what did I do right today? And what would I like to do better with tomorrow? Right? And in that way, you get a chance to, forgive yourself for whatever wasn't perfect. And you also get to remind yourself that life is good. And really, one step at a time. Good. I'm glad, Niasha, you can do this. And remember, Niasha, whatever it is you're dealing with, so many of the viewers have dealt with the same thing and survived it and come out stronger for it, as you so rightly say. And how many of you can imagine that just the fact that I may choose to move again. I will get to look at the new place on Monday and make a decision whether I want to move or not. And if I do, I will move, I believe, on Tuesday or maybe Wednesday. I'm still waiting for final confirmation of that because I think I get to see it on Monday and then they will probably clean it Tuesday. I could be wrong. We'll find out. And so that makes it difficult for me to get help moving. But what I'm going to probably do is ask them to give me a changeover day. In other words, that I've got a full day where I have occupation of both places. Because when I thought about how do I reduce the stress on this, I was thinking that's what I need to do, is so that I can do 2 or 3 trips if I need to. All right, so Niasha's asking, Sal, are you moving again? And if so, why? This place is lovely. I saw it in the vlog. Yes, well, here's the thing. This is a beautiful day today, and there is plenty of sunlight and everything, but we're about to go into the Canadian winter, and it gets to be pretty dark and miserable. The new place is that much bigger, Niasha, which means it has more window space. And that would give me, well, so I'm led to believe, that would give me even more light in the winter. And that's really what I'm trying to deal with. It would give me an extra bedroom as well. And the big thing for me, Niasha, is that it has 2 bathrooms, one of which has a walk-in shower. And that is much safer for me rather than trying to get in and out over at my age. To be able to walk into a shower is much safer. I've been doing pretty well up until now, so I have no complaints. So if I needed to stay here, I'd make a plan. So dealing with stress. Are any of you dealing with any extra stress this week that you can talk about? remembering that when you talk about your stress, it helps other people. And the reason I say this is because really, we are always amazed how many people are not necessarily chatting in the room, but are listening on the outside. And it's always important that we remember that this is not about us. It's about giving other people the tools that they need to be able to help the stress in their life. Nyasha's saying, that's great. Yes, I heard the explanation for the walk-in shower, and you're right. You see, one of the things in life, Nyasha, is I've always said to people, seek first to understand, right? And you did. You said, why would I want to move, right? You're looking for more information. And the reason is when you seek first to understand, 9 times out of 10, it makes a lot more sense. You know, you can, and I was at dinner last night and somebody said something that was really weird. And instead of just automatically reacting on the negative of that, I actually said, gosh, that's interesting. How did you come up with that? Because that's a fascinating perspective. And, you know, when they were explaining the background to it all, it made perfect sense why they've thought that way. And do you understand? It gives you that moment to have compassion. And so wherever possible, try to make sure that you seek first to understand before you react. Especially, I know that we're coming up soon to the American Thanksgiving. We Canadians have had ours, but you're coming up to your American Thanksgiving. And, you know, that's a big time for people to snap at each other and do all sorts of things. So take it as a lesson in stress management. And how do I not react to this? Right? That's the trick. How do I not react? Jody, am I allowed to talk about your ongoing issue that caused you a lot of stress this week? Just let me know if I may. In the meantime, for those of you who are regular viewers, you know that I got dragged by my car this week. I want to tell you the feelings that went through my mind in that split second were incredible. How many feelings I had. It started off with, if you know the cycle of loss, right? It's, hang on a second. Let me just get my whiteboard here. I've got it here. I just didn't get it. Oh, hang on a second. Okay, because it's, you know, when we talk about that cycle of loss, and really when your car starts rolling away from you, hi Jamie, I can assure you it's definitely that. So the first thing on that cycle is denial. And I definitely went through denial. And like I'm going, what the, you know, in that split second as my car started to roll. And then I took action because, okay, if you can imagine, this is my car. Yeah, looking at from the top. Actually, this is my bonnet, my hood is here. But my car door was open. What happened was, as I opened the car door, my gear shift came out, and it, you know, went into neutral. And once it was in neutral, of course, the car started. But the door was already open, and I ran to get this side of the door because what I wanted to do was to get in and put my foot on the brake. I'm certain you can all understand that. So the next thing I did was I got pretty angry. Okay, I got pretty angry because I flung half my body onto the seat. Yeah. With the idea of pulling up the emergency brake. But I want to tell you the angle I was at. my weight was on my hand. So when I got there, I didn't have the right angle to pull up the brake, and I couldn't hit the brake either on the floor. So now I got pretty sad about that. And at that moment, I'm really thinking, this is all going in slow motion, as you can probably imagine. But I'm really thinking about, oh my goodness, I'm going to hit. All right, so this is the next bit. There's like, here is the car, and we're rolling down the driveway, and then there's the little road in my community, and then there's the driveway to my neighbor on the other side of the road. And I am busy heading down towards my neighbor's car. And I knew I was doing that. So you can imagine how angry and sad I was. And then the next thing is I suddenly realize that I got to be really aware of my legs. Because if I let myself slide out too far, my legs can end up under this wheel. It's pretty scary. And you know, and then what I did, and I know it sounds really strange, I sort of pushed my feet to try and cause some sort of braking action with a dirty gray Jeep. Yeah, but I did. And then my shoe came off, and that's why I scraped the side of my foot. So the whole thing was that my main concern was to save my legs. I have to say, I knew that if I hit the car, it's amazing what went through my mind. If I hit the car, that was probably insured. That wasn't my biggest thing. That for me to run over my feet or my legs, that was pretty important, not to do that. And so I concentrated on keeping them at almost at right angles to the car, but also trying to brake the car a little bit. And the car stopped about 6 feet away from the neighbor's car. Oh, interesting. Jody's saying, notice I'm not seeing panic anywhere in that circle. Well, actually, there was a split second. No, yeah, I think there was a split second of panic. The panic wasn't going to help me, Jody. You know me well enough to know that I know that, right? Panic's not going to help me at all. What's going to help me is what I do, not what I think, right? And so, yeah, that's part of the whole learning here, right, about dealing with feelings is, you know, once you realize that your feelings are not going to, your feelings are just your feelings. You need to feel them. And then I didn't, quite honestly, Jody, I didn't have time for feelings. You understand? If I'd spent time on my feelings, there was going to be plenty of time for my feelings afterwards. That's the way I deal with stuff. And so when the car came to a halt, Jody, when the car came to a halt, I realized that I am now sitting in my neighbor's driveway, 6 feet away from his car, if that. And the whole point was I was trying to charge the battery on my car. And so would the car start again so I could get it off his driveway? And luckily it did. So then I got the car back where it was meant to be, and I slammed it all the way into gear, and I put on the handbrake. And then I got out, and that's when I went inside to where Betty Ann was, my neighbor. And I said, I could do with a hug right now. And I literally, I don't mind telling you, my hands were doing this. So there was lots of adrenaline in my system, because that's, you know, that's what causes that, is that high adrenaline. I think that's what causes it. But, you know, I was literally shaking like this. And I just, you know, I don't know what to say. Jody's saying an entire split second that you dedicated to panic. And then she said, "You are amazing. I want to be just like you when I grow up." Well, I've always said about that. It's a mentality that I've taught myself, Jody. It is definitely not one that I have to say I grew up being. I think I've always been fairly, I think the word I want to use is pragmatic. Um, mm. Okay, let me get a proper definition of pragmatics, because if I try and explain that word, I might not get it the way that it is. So let me just get it right. Okay, here you go. Pragmatic. Dealing with things sensibly and realistically in a way that is based on practical rather than theoretical considerations. All right? So pragmatic. In other words, I'm inclined to see things and not overreact to them, but rather see them for what they are and then deal with them. Now, that doesn't mean I don't have feelings, and I wanted to make sure you all understood that. Thank you, Jody. I had a feeling that Jody is brilliant on these sort of research things. She's saying about the adrenaline. She said adrenaline causes a reduction of the blood towards the muscles, causing a surge in energy or shaking limbs. So that is why, I started. So quite honestly, I think I was shaking more with the car than I did in the fire. Now, isn't that interesting? But I was really shaking quite a bit. So what I did was after I got a hug from Betty Ann, I said, now I need some food. And by the way, candy would be great right now. Because I knew I needed to put some sugar in. Why, Jody? What does sugar do? What does sugar do to the adrenaline? But that's what I asked for. I said, because I know she has hordes of candy in her house. I said, a candy bar would be really good for me right now. Also, hot tea with sugar would have done it, but candy bar is much nicer. And Yasha's saying, guys, I've got to go. Take care, so all the best and stay safe. Well, great to see you, Nyasha, and we'll look forward to seeing you this evening. Yeah, and Jody's saying candy is given when people are experiencing shock. And I knew that what I needed was a candy bar. And quite honestly, if she didn't have a candy bar, I would have said, just give me a teaspoon of sugar, and I would have just put it in my hand and taken it. So the question is, why does sugar bring the shock down? What does it do? Must relax the muscles, I presume. Oh. So, okay. So Jody's saying your blood sugar drops dramatically when you're in shock. And Jody, when you're in shock, yes. And Jody, there was something else to that as well. At the time that it happened, I hadn't eaten all day. So I not only was my blood sugar already low, but then I had that shock. So I knew that the first thing I needed was something in my system to bring up my blood sugar. And it worked. It was a very nice candy bar. In fact, I think I had a second. I'm not 100% sure about that. But I think I might have, she had fairly small ones, what I call Halloween side ones. So I took a couple of those that I thought I needed. Anyway, so all is good. Lessons learned, all right? And again, this is the other thing. Whenever you go through a situation that, has this sort of reaction, always, I'm sure, ask yourself, how do I make sure that doesn't happen again? And what I also didn't realize was that in my driveway next door to them, I go up a driveway that has a slant on it, but then I park on the flat. And then where I was parked on their driveway, I was just at the angle. So, the question is, how do I make sure not to do that again? I don't mind telling you that in the split second after it stopped, I gave thanks. I burst out laughing. I burst out laughing, which was probably a shock reaction. I said, I made it by 6 feet. And then I gave thanks because so many things could have gone wrong. So many things could have gone wrong. And, luckily it was a straight driveway, one to the other. I didn't hit anything or anybody. A car could have been coming down at that exact moment. A dog could have run behind me. You know what I mean? All sorts of things could have happened that didn't. And I really gave a lot of thanks that I managed to fling half my body into the car, because when that car door knocked me off balance, I could have been under those wheels. So, it's just like, I thought there were lots of reasons to give thanks, and I did. So what I want you to do is to be aware that panicking was not the answer to that, any more than panic was the answer to my fire. And if you remember, even when my house caught fire, I did have a split second of panic there. Literally, I stood there with that, what the do I do? And then I went, that doesn't help. And so that's the whole thing, which is panicking does not help anything. Panicking actually could cost you your life. Does that make sense? What's going to save me is what I do, not what I think. And I think all too often that we forget that we spend so much time caught up in that hamster wheel of thinking instead of doing stuff. It's, if you're lonely, you can sit and think about how sad is that? I'm lonely. But you're going to continue to be lonely unless you do something to stop that. You need to get out and meet people and interact with people, or phone people, or email people, or or Zoom people. It's on you. It's not on somebody else. But what I find so interesting is how many people tell me they're lonely, but they want somebody else to contact them. My attitude, or somebody else to invite them over, or whatever. And I can always remember going to a chiropractor. I was in my 20s and I was in victim mode about being lonely. And it was really interesting because he said to me, you're holding a lot of tension wherever it was. And he said, so what are you upset about at the moment? And I said, well, I just feel pretty lonely. I think I can't remember what had happened to me, but I'm feeling pretty lonely. And he said, so you haven't learned that lesson yet. And I said, what lesson? He said, loneliness is your choice. And I went, what? He said, loneliness is your choice. If you are not going out or doing whatever, especially in today's age, right? Then you think about it. How many chat rooms are there around the world these days on every subject you can ever think of? How many hobbies could you take up and, have lots of people to talk to? And then people say, but it's not the same. Well, it's getting pretty much like the same because we have live video and all sorts of things. And, it's like, it's a choice to be lonely because you're not doing anything to stop it. And then you can say, well, people don't like me. Well, not everybody. No, that's quite true. I assure you, not everybody likes me as well. But I know that if I put myself out there, unless they're lined up outside your front door, if they got people lined up outside your front door to chat to, then that's fine. But I don't, right? So if I want to talk to a human being in this day and age, I have to leave my house. And I have to go and find humans to talk to. or I need to phone a human. But, so to me, it's a very important part of coping is to realize that I am fully responsible for my feelings. Happy, sad, joyous, miserable, victim, victor. All these things are within my grasp. So that split second when the car was rolling, sure, there was a split second of panic. But the next thing, I did not think about my car at any point. I thought about the car it was going to hit. Isn't that interesting? Again, twice in a month, I did everything I could to save the property of rather than myself. Hi there, Amber. Good to see you again. Isn't that strange, right? It was like apparently material things have great value to me. Remember, I fought the fire because this was my new home. And now I took the risk. And again, somebody said to me, why the neighbor whose car I nearly hit when he came to visit me, and I'll talk about that later, but one of the questions he said to me, why didn't you just let the car hit my car? It's insured. That didn't even hit my mind, right? I just wanted to stop it from hitting the car. So isn't that interesting that my mind goes that way? I guess I value what I have. I'm so aware of how lucky I am to have what I have. And I feel the same way about other people's property. And to give you an example, when I was visiting my neighbor the other day, I knew that it was too late for me to go shopping, but I was running out of toilet paper back at this place. So I said to her, could I possibly steal a toilet roll? And she looked at me and said, of course. And I said, thank you. And I also borrowed some big, it was the day of the car thing, because she bandaged my foot for me with some big Band-Aids that were sort of like this big. And then she gave me a second one. And so I don't know about you guys, but when I visited her last night, I took 2 toilet rolls back, plus 4 of those. You've known me nearly a year now. Yes, I do have to do that. It's who I am. Jody's saying, I said something to Lionel's her husband, the other day, explaining my perspective. And he thought about it and said, that's a very Sal way of looking at things. I like it. Wow. You see, but when you start thinking like that, Jody, can you see how much happier you are when you don't get caught up in the hamster wheel all the time, and that you just, deal with what is? And, to me, I don't get angry. I used to get angry all the time because people weren't doing things my way. Now I just know it's their way. I'm responsible for my behavior, not theirs. Jody's saying my entire thought process has shifted for the better. Well, so's mine, Jody. And it's really funny, and I think about all that work we did last year on emotional intelligence, and I think I'm going to go back and do some more, because I can really see that it has helped us all. Although it was like we were learning it last year, but we're getting to put it in practice this year. Isn't it interesting? Last year we talked about it, and this year we get to practice it. So now moving on, coping with limited funds. Do any of you have any stories you want to share about things you're doing to cope with limited funds and your feelings around that? I know that I've been really concerned, and And this is a waste of my energy. And I understand that, but I just want to be honest because I've always told you I would be as honest as I can be. I've been really feeling quite concerned about the possibility that the election is on Tuesday for you guys in the US, and that there is now a fairly high probability that your president will do what he can to strike down Obamacare completely by the end of the year, and that he's stacked the Supreme Court enough that he could get away with it. And I've got an awful lot of viewers who need the pre-existing conditions thing, that need the medications that they're on, that need, and that are not high income earners and don't necessarily have the ability to buy their medications the normal way. I'm going, this worries me, but can I do anything about it? No, I can't put in a vote in the States. It's just like, so it's a bit of a waste of my energy to get caught up in it. But I don't mind telling you that if I had a lot of money, that wouldn't worry me as much, because I'd be going, well, maybe I could do something to help, but, quite honestly, I can't. So, but does it really help anybody having me worry about it now? It's a waste of my energy when I could be doing something better with it. Now, in terms of experiences and trying a new store, I was quite surprised, because right in the middle of them checking me out, they suddenly said, "You get a gift." I said, "What?" And they said, "You get a gift for the amount that you've spent, you get a gift." So I don't know about you, but this I got for free. Well, not really, because I got it because I spent as much as I did. But how many of you would love to know what's in the box? Because I purposely have not opened it. I did break the handle by accident, but I didn't open it because I thought that's the sort of thing people like to see opened. So here we go. What's in the box? So it comes from Life, who make Band-Aid type things as well. And so they say it's skin care essentials. So, a box inside the box. Hold on, people. Oh, isn't that pretty? How about that? And all right, I don't know how to pronounce this. Is it called Mikola? I'm certain somebody will correct me if I've just said that wrong. It's like a mineral water, I think, to clean your face. If I had my glasses here, I would be able to tell you more. So that's one thing. And then this is all-in-one makeup removal sheets. Multitasking. We know that I will use them for more than just that. I want to tell you two things. If you've got wet wipes that are antibacterial, they're inclined to be on stronger cloth. And so they definitely are micellar. Oh, it's micellar? Thank you, micellar water. Okay. Anyway, the cloth is inclined to be stronger. So I'm finding that my antibacterial wipes and things, they're really great for makeup removal and stuff. So now I've got some brand new ones. Okay, now the next thing I've got here is a plum and ceramide. I have no idea what ceramide is. It's a facial cream mask. Okay. And then there's an, oh, you're going to have fun with that. Shall I do that tonight? And this one is a camu berry and mulberry extract one. Actually, I can't do a mask while I'm broadcasting because I wouldn't be able to talk. It goes against everything that I am. And then this one is a hydrogel eye mask. Okay. And then this one, this is a purifying cleansing wipes with charcoal. I presume for my face, I have to have my glasses on. And then this is facial cleanser, probably to use with the wipes. So, and I got all that for free. Yes, and great sizes. I agree. They could have been just the sample sizes, but you know, that would last a long time, even on my fat face. Helps reduce the appearance of pores. Do I have the appearance of pores? I know I was talking about limited funds, but am I poor? So if you put the face mask on, you know, and all of this stuff, then oh, I amuse myself. Yep. Okay. How about coping with people? Now, Jody definitely had a combo again of dealing with people and stress. As some of you know, she's had an ongoing battle with her in-law, her brother and sister-in-law, who, hi Judith, good to see you. I am very well, thank you, honey. But you know, it's like, it's really important that you understand how strong Jody has been, because have they had the celebration of life already, Jody? I just want to make sure I got my facts right. And I know I need to show you something in a second, so I've got to wipe clean this. Oh, I could use one of my cleanser things for that. Hold on. I got cleanser things that would clean my whiteboard beautifully. Okay, so you all understand that. Wait. Oh. It's nice you won't see the dirt. Okay, so what happened was, for those of you who don't know the history, just broke on my whiteboard, there we go. Okay, so what happened was, now not everybody cleans their whiteboard with their latest gift, but you know, it's me and it's the nearest thing I have. And I'm presuming it will do no harm to it. Doesn't clean it quite as well. Okay, so now, it's going to be a little, what did I do with the pen, people? Seriously. You know, I had the pen right here. No. What did I do with the pen? There it is. Okay. So, what happened was that they had the celebration of life for Lionel's daddy. And Jody and Lionel decided that because Jody is at so high a risk level for COVID, you know, she has got so many pre-existing conditions that puts her way up there for risk on COVID, that they decided as difficult as it was, to not go to the celebration of life. And the reason that they did that is because of the way that they had seen Lionel's brother and sister-in-law doing things without masks and without due caution and all the rest of it. So they had real fear, and understandable. And so what happened was that there's been this ongoing fight backwards and forwards that Jodi's done really well, not to go into the hamster wheel on, because, that would be so easy to do. But the latest thing, and the reason I wanted to talk about it, all right, so Jodi's saying, I'm just going to get to that bit. Yeah. So what happened is that Jodi said that one of the reasons that they felt that they couldn't come was because they had seen a lot of pictures of the two of them on Facebook interacting, no masks, no social distancing, just in with people regularly. And then came the deflection. And this is something that people do, and I want you to be really aware of it. The topic was, the reason we haven't come is because of safety. All right? That was the reason. And the safety issue was what we'd seen about masks and social distancing. And we'd seen that on Facebook. Okay, so that was the discussion. Now, the deflection was not to answer the safety issue, right, which is the main issue, is safety. The interesting thing was the deflection came when the answer was, well, we wear masks at work. So you understand, they deflected from the main reason and into this one, because they didn't have the right answer for this. They answered this one. Can you see that? And it happens all the time with people. When they don't have the right answer for this, they deflect to something else to take your mind off it. Now, if you don't mind my saying so, and I'm sorry, but you've got a president that's pretty good at doing that. In fact, politicians generally are pretty good about doing that, right? They hear a question that they don't like. So what they do is they deflect it over to something that they do like. And, you have to be aware of it. So I want you to be more aware. All right. And now the name calling happened. All right. The next thing was that they started to call Jodi and Lionel cruel for calling out the mask thing. It's not cruel, it's fact. So that's just their opinion. But it's fact. Now, to give you the difference, Jodi, and I thought you might like to hear this. I was invited to Betty Ann's again last night to celebrate a birthday party for the neighbor the other side of her, who's the guy that got the Wii for me. The Wii for me. I'll be able to play Wii next week on my own. But what she did is she had actually been contacted by some friends of hers from where she used to live, and they wanted to come and visit her. They come from a really small rural community, low risk. They are people that are older. And my experience has been the older you are, the more seriously you take this. They are also people that were going to visit their 95-year-old mother for her 95th birthday. So they were obviously felt that they were pretty healthy, because otherwise, why would they put their 95-year-old mother at risk, right? So, But the interesting thing was that Betty Ann made a point of telling me they were coming to the house the day before the birthday dinner last night. And she said, if you feel at all uncomfortable about that, I would totally understand. See, Jody, that's the difference, right? That she knows that I'm also high risk, not as high risk as you are, but I'm also high risk. And the fact that she was prepared to take the risk with them because of their age, because of their mentality, because of their cautionary sort of mentality, didn't mean that I necessarily would. And I thought that was really considerate. And so, Jody, that was a horrible thing for you to go through. And quite honestly, Jody, I'm pretty sure you know this, but you and Lionel will get punished with that for the rest of your lives. And Jody's answer is they don't like that they can't control us. Bingo. Because it worked so well for so long, Jody. Didn't it? Can you imagine how uncomfortable it is from there? It's like, what happened to those people? I used to be able to control them totally, and now they just don't listen to me anymore. Yeah. And Jody's saying, we're being punished for sticking to your guns. And they will continue to punish you for that. You do know that. That thing is not going to go to bed. Every time there's a family argument, they will bring this up. And you couldn't even be bothered to come to the, that's how they will word it. You couldn't be bothered to come to the celebration of life, the Lionel's daddy. They will use that, and you can imagine how many people they've told about that. And the thing is, you have no control over that, nor do you need to, because you know what you did was right for you and Lionel, and you know that his daddy, were he alive, would totally agree with you. You see, that's the difference. And so some people will see it as a total disrespect for your mother-in-law, but it wasn't that. It was like, you are high risk, and they have ignored the mask thing. They only do it when they're forced to, which is at work, probably. They're probably forced to wear masks at work. Not that they choose to, because if it were a choice, they'd still be wearing them in other things. So, Jody, how does it feel? And Jody's saying we're being punished for sticking to our guns. Yes. For setting your boundary. And when you realize that it's emotional blackmail, right? Did you realize that? That what they were doing when they started calling you names, like cruel and stuff, that's emotional blackmail stuff. I don't react well to that when people do that to me, I must admit. And I actually call it for what it is. And I'll go, are you trying to emotionally blackmail me? They go, what are you talking about? And I explain what I'm talking about. Well, I didn't do what you wanted to do, so you started calling me names. Okay, Jody's saying, and that's what I said. You're forced to wear them at work, and it's interesting the choice you make on your own time to not wear them. Yeah. And you know something? I was surprised that the cleaning crew came in without any masks on. So guess what? I immediately made sure I was well socially distant from them, and I was wearing my shield the whole time they were in the place. So, it's very difficult. You think you're safe, and you just don't know half the time. So, Jody, I want to tell you that I know how difficult this must have been for both you and for Lionel. And how sad it is that you will get punished with this for the longest time, unless they grow emotionally. And Jodie's saying also it was the sheer amount of times they have posted pictures of themselves at parties and out and about without masks, right? And so, it's just like, yeah, you gave me the proof. Your words are really interesting that you're safe, but the reality that I see on Facebook isn't safe. And I'm beginning to think that, I'm doing, like I got caught off guard yesterday with the cleaning crew. Sandy is saying exactly what I intend to do anyway. Sandy is saying I would make sure that that doesn't happen again, Sal. They should be wearing masks while they're cleaning where you live. I agree. And I will talk about that. And, the other thing is there is no reason for it today. And if they're saying, well, I find wearing a shield is much, much more comfortable than wearing a mask. So, to me, it's like, and you can get them in Walmart now. So it's like, really? And I will, talk to that because I was pretty upset. I think I was in shock, first of all. And I just made sure I kept socially distant. And I aired the place out well after they left and did all sorts of things. Well, my Walmart does. Do you want to see the one? It's not quite like the one I like, but I can show you what it's like if you would like to see it, Jodie. Because I did find one in Walmart and I thought I should buy it so I can show you guys. Okay, hold on a second, everybody. I just got to go to my hall closet and not trip over any wires, which is the challenge. Okay, so this is the one I found at Walmart. And they had different colors here. I don't know why I got the camo one, but never mind. What I like about it, it has foam here at the top. So when you wear it, it actually feels comfortable when you wear it. And that's great. Now, the difficulty is when you want to take it off. For example, I would wear it going, can you hear me okay? Okay, I would wear it going down in the elevator to my car. But I'd have to take it off to drive the car because I don't want to drive with that in front of me. Okay, fine. All right, so this it wasn't that expensive, maybe $5 or something, Jodie. And I just check whether your Walmart has got them. You remember I'm in Canada, so it might not be the same. But the one that I got, which I got on Wish, but that takes a long time to deliver, is this one. And the reason I like it is because you put it on like a pair of glasses. So when I am driving, I just literally push it up on top of my head. And by the way, when I'm wearing my glasses to drive, if I get out of the car, I just literally pull it back down again. And there it is. All right. And then when I want to do something like read something, I can just lift it up and then just put it back again. And it rests on the bridge of my nose. Questions? Yeah. And by the way, a couple of warnings when you wear these. They do have them at you see, the things I teach you guys. But I don't know about you. People do a double take. Why? Because they can see me and they can see my smile. And you know, it's just like I'm quite normal. So what price were they, Jody? Did you see what price they are in the States? But I want to tell you something. They are, okay, so can you see the difference now? So when I wear this, if I want to lift it up, it doesn't lift up easily, which means I could lose it more easily. All right, it's from $6. That's what I thought about, $5, yeah. $6 to 14, depending on what model you get. So you see the difference. This one is more difficult. So if I want to take it off to read something, it's, I've got more chance of leaving it somewhere. I can't balance it on top of my head. But I love it. Now, a couple of warning things. Number one, they get dirty. If you can see. So I do, they get fingerprints on them. And the other thing is, you'll be amazed how many times you have it on, and then you go to eat. Oh yeah, you go to put a mint or something in your mouth, and you go, oh yeah, right, hang on. I do it all the time. When you go to drink something, yeah, right, I can't do that. But what I also like about it is if you're in a restaurant, you can lift it up a little bit. You see this? And still eat, but you've still got your nose covered. So, all right, so I will find out, or we will find out whether they're on Amazon. And if so, we will put up the link for you. Oh, they also have the ones that are on the first frame. The disadvantage of that, Jody, is that it doesn't have a block here, all right? So I guess if germs were lingering right on top of my head, they could filter down. I don't know, but what I'm inclined to have anyway is my hair all over me, so doesn't have a lot of room. For me, I find this the most comfortable. I love this. You also have found similar on Amazon. Okay, so then what I will do is, just so you know, I will put up the link. I will put them onto my site, put up the links so people can get them. And I'll take this part of the video and edit it out so it's a standalone, so the other viewers, our regular viewers, will be able to see it. Thank you for that discussion. That was unexpected. So now, talking about coping with people, you remember the neighbors from with the car that I nearly hit, the same neighbors that gave me the blankie. And they actually came to visit me. And they turned out to be the same neighbors that are going to buy the shed. Isn't it funny how this whole thing is just like this? And not only are they going to buy it, they're going to help me empty it and then take it apart and remove it. And so, it's amazing that I lived 7 months without even meeting those neighbors. And now in the space of the last month, they came to my aid when I needed it, when I had the fire. And now they're going to buy my shed. They even are going to help me take everything out of the shed. It's just like, yeah, no coincidences. But can you see that they came in just at the right time? Can you see that? If you like, the universe knew that I didn't need them yet. But when I did need them, they came into play. And so I just thought I would mention that, because isn't that weird? And then I thought about how stressful I was getting because where am I going to put the stuff that's in the shed? Because, my big shed is already filled with boxes. And what if, and I'm busy. Could I sit there for a week and say it's not fair and da 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 da? And also, I can't put it all on the deck because the deck is one of the things I've got to clean for them for this inspection. The deck is a nightmare at the moment because of all what's going on around the house. But, you see, the thing is this, I've got to get the right mentality. The feeling of being upset or it's not fair or how could they do this to me is not going to help me. All I need to do is to get the place clean enough to pass the inspection. What I do after that is a whole different thing. So here's what I asked myself. Instead of getting bent out of shape, what I said was, okay, where do I need to put the stuff that is in my little shed? And when I was talking to those neighbors that want the shed, I said, have you got any room anywhere, or can you help me put some stuff under my deck? Because I've got to get the stuff out of there and put it somewhere. And they even said that they had room under their deck, that they would happily put stuff under there for me until the spring, when I will have chance to get back in my house. And then I thought, I got to get even smarter than that. So I sent an email to the insurance people and said the shed issue came about because of the fire. And now this is what's happening. So here's what I'm going to do. My house is currently empty. All right. They're waiting for the permits and everything else. I've got a dirty, great storage room. It's called my house. How many of you are chuckling? And I didn't ask them. I told them, because I have to empty the shed, and I clean up my deck area. I am putting stuff from my shed and my deck into the house. Now, if you want them moved, you can either move them around inside the house, or you can move them off property and bring them back when everything's finished. You see, it's not my problem. I have a big storage shed. It's called my house. And if they're not happy with it, then they can move it. What do you think? I said that really nicely, though. I used words like, I'm sure you'll agree that, this is not fair on me, and, da, 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 and therefore, the only thing I can think to do, because my back won't let me bend enough to keep trying to put things under my shed at the moment, what I'm going to do is put it in the house. And I'm going to put my mini greenhouse in the house. I'm going to put my weed whackers and everything else in the house. Or I give them to my neighbor because I won't need them until the spring. I don't think I'm doing a lot of weed whacking in the winter. Can any of you see my mentality? This is not my problem, unless I want it to be. My attitude is I can put it into the house. I own the house. It's my house. What I do with it is my business. If the insurance people want it out of the way, they can either move it room by room as they need to, or they can box it up and take it somewhere. End of problem. Are any of you chuckling? And guess what? They even said you shouldn't be doing that on your own. We'll send people to help you do that. I'm going to do it anyway. Now then, I thought you'd like this one. This is about coincidences. I think you remember I said that this is incredibly helpful guy that helped me move in here and it will help me move. He's in charge of all the properties here, and his name's Nolan. It's an unusual name. And so it was really interesting because the guy came to install the internet upgrade. Guess what his name was? Nolan. How weird is that? When did you last meet a Nolan? And I have two of them in my life right now. And so when I introduced them, I went, Nolan, this is Nolan. And they're both looking at me, and I went, yeah, really? Nolan, this is Nolan. And they had this huge conversation going on. The other thing is, guess what? You've got an internet techie. Nolan, my Nolan, as I call him, also is an internet techie. You know, he's fascinated by it, and I'm a YouTuber. So you can imagine this install took a lot longer than normal. And what I loved about it was, you know, I ended up learning lots of different things. And I went from 15 Mbps. That means, I looked it up for you, megabits per second. I went from 15 a second. By the time they did the upgrade, I was at 155 on the, I did a speed test, a ping. Went from 15 to 155. So I was pretty sure that this broadcast would look pretty good to you guys. That's the upload speed. And that's what I wanted. You see, I just asked for what I want. By the way, will the insurance pay for it? Probably. But here's the other thing. I also found out that it only costs about $20 a month more than what I had at my other house, my house. And I might well upgrade to that when I go back. You know, I was so impressed with the speed of this. And it does. You know, when I did a vlog, I edited a vlog and I uploaded it. Normally, that can take hours, as Jody will know. It was done in seconds. It was just like, I'm not joking, 5 minutes later, it was all done. I mean, oh, that could save me a lot of time. Yes, and Jody's saying, I'll get from one site to the next before I finish typing it. Everything is just incredibly. That's the download speed though, Jody. The upload speed is when I'm uploading to the internet, you know, when I'm uploading to YouTube. That's what I couldn't believe. The speed of that was amazing. So anyway, but both are improved wonderfully. How about chaos? Have any of you had a feeling of chaos this week? How many of you know that I'm going to be in a lot of chaos because I could well need to move on election day or maybe the day after. But how much chaos will there be? You know, I got to pack up again. And by the way, this time I've got twice as much stuff. Why? I've got a lot more food. I've got a lot more, all sorts of stuff, you know, and so it's going to take more. But how I do it will determine the stress. So let's have some input from you guys. Think about that. I am literally 2 buildings away from where I need to go. And Nolan has a cart. So part of me goes, I've got a number of choices. This is how I see it. I also have, if you remember, I have 2 rolling duffel bags. I am thinking it will probably be as easy to just roll them up to, you know, it's uphill, but, you know, again, weight training. Or I could push them up the hill here to the 2 buildings away. It would probably be good exercise and to do that. Or I can take them all the way down to my car, but then I've got to lift them into the car and then drive 100 yards. That makes sense with the boxes. It doesn't make sense with the rolling duffel bags, which I can, you know, put the heavy stuff in. So I'm plus, you know, I got to find out how much help I can get from Nolan, or whether he can loan me the cart for, you know, the day or something, or get me one. Or I go back, oh, rats, that's what I meant to do. I'm going tomorrow. I've got a cart at home. Yes, I will get my cart from home. I've got one in my big shed. Now, the other thing I discovered with chaos is, you remember I went grocery shopping. I forgot to take the duffel bag with me. Remember I said to me, my duffel bag's going to be my new granny cart for when I go shopping, and I forgot to take it with me because I didn't think I was going to get that much, but I did. So I ended up having to carry as many grocery bags as I could, up 4 flights in the elevator, but up, bring them in, put them down, and go all the way back down again and get the second load. Because I couldn't carry the groceries and the toilet paper and, the bulkier stuff all at the same time, and the magic box full of goodies. So I can choose my mentality. I could be frustrated by it or angry, or I could say, oh, extra steps. It's more steps that I can take. You see, it's how I think about it that will change it. So I'm going to be moving for the 4th time. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, the 4th time in 4 weeks, basically. So can you see that doing it with minimum stress is a good idea for me? And if I don't overload the duffel bags, I probably could get it all into the car and drive it in one load. It's just I could go up and down to my car a couple of times, fill up my car completely, get to the other side, right? And then do 2 trips up and down to get it up. So it's all how I do it. And nobody says I have to do it in an hour. See, you understand my thinking here? So did anybody have any fears this week? I definitely had fear, obviously, with the car. In that split second, I feared losing my feet or my legs under the car. Boy, that's a big motivation to use that. The other fear was, what damage did I do to my back when I flung myself into the car? And so far, it doesn't appear to have been anything. And for that, I'm really grateful that I've been doing the exercises that I have that have made my back more supple. Yeah, Jody's saying, spinning your wheels on a negative emotion does nothing but zap your energy. It's not a step towards a solution. That was such a huge lesson to me. Yes, Jody, you see, once you've got it, isn't it funny? Once you've got it, it's just like, yeah, that's a waste of time. Now let me get on and do something. And, what I was so grateful for, Jody, was that now when it's a survival thing, I switch over, like, of course I feel it. I'm human. I feel it, but it's like, no, I haven't got time for that. In the fire, I felt it, but I didn't have time to deal with it. I'll deal with that later. So I do recommend processing the feelings, don't get me wrong. I do recommend not stuffing them down, which is why as soon as I finished with the car, I went to Betty Ann and said, that was so scary, I need a hug. It's like, that was so scary. It was. And I kept thinking about her husband watching me do this. Yes, Jody's saying you feel it, but don't unpack it there. Yeah, it's like I can deal with this emotion. The emotion I can deal with anytime. Right? The car rolling down needs to be dealt with right now. It's about choose your timing. I definitely thought I could lose a foot. I have to be quite honest. I was scared of that. And I definitely was fearful that I was going to hit the other car. And that's why I tried to use my feet as, at a funny angle. I had them stuck out over there trying to brake a little bit. And I have to deal with a lot of change this week and now more next week, right? I've new stores, going shopping in a new store, it takes more time, right? And it's change, and I don't like change. I don't know about the rest of you. I like knowing where things are, and if I get on the 3rd aisle, I'm going to hit this, and da-da-da. I like knowing where stuff is, But I decided if I could take it as an exercise routine, then I wouldn't mind going backwards and forwards, on the aisles at all, and I didn't. And also just saying, okay, fine, you can walk the whole store and just see what's in there. So next time you come in here, it'll be easier. Now, will I remember it all? No. And by the way, did I find myself backtracking a couple of times because I got disoriented in the store? Absolutely. Aloha, Alana, thank you, and happy Halloween. Yes. So, Jody, I wanted to ask you, because you've been pretty quiet on it this week, you've had the change, coping with the change of coming off insulin. Now, has that settled down any for you in the last week? And Sandy, the change of her pump. So, I'm thinking there are two people dealing with change. And by the way, when I went to dinner last night, while you two are typing up your answers, when I went to dinner last night, it was a wonderful, ham dinner and all the trimmings, you name it. And then we had birthday cake. And then, where we were playing I was sitting in one of those recliner chairs, and on the left-hand side and on the right, there was a little treat container with candy in it, with chocolate, mini Halloween chocolates in it. And I just looked at Betty Ann and I said, how cruel is this? How cruel is this? I'm pre-diabetic, and I have an addictive personality in terms of chocolates. So really, and what I did was I immediately put one of them down on the floor. And after I had about 6 of those mini candies, I took that bowl and I put it down on the floor, because if I don't see it, I don't eat it as much. I think I still had one after that, but because it wasn't in my line of sight. When it was in my line of sight, it was like smoking. I was just inhaling them. All right, so Sandy's saying about her in her pump, she's saying, I'm finally where I want to be on my settings. All is going well. Well, touch wood, and I'm so happy to hear that. Jody's saying it's getting better slowly. It's still a work in progress. Yes, I am certain that that's quite a shift for both of you. So keep taking it one day at a time, keep improving, little tweak. I must admit that I was pretty shocked that after I had that big meal, by the way, I had seconds because it was so good. And then I had cake. I had seconds of the cake. Seriously. Then I had the chocolate. I came home, chocolates, plural. Then I came home and I drank 2 bottles of water. And then I still had a midnight snack. And I thought, I am really going to pay for this dearly tomorrow morning. But so be it. And it ended up being, 7.1 or 7.2 this morning, which converted, converted, I've got this little conversion table there. Converted is, wrong one. About 127, 128, somewhere in there. What I like about this chart, by the way, for those of you who are diabetic or pre-diabetic, it gives me the Canadian, the American, and the A1C equivalent. So I know that even though mine was 7.1, I'm going to say 7.2 because it's easier. That would be 129 in American, but that would convert to a 5.8 on the A1C. Very interesting. So not too bad. It's just like I got it under enough control. Now, obviously, I'd like it a lot lower than that. But it's just like after that, all that food, I managed to get it done. It was amazing. I did have, new washer dryer. And, when Nolan showed me the place, he said, and this is the filter for the dryer. I went, okay, thank you. So I keep religiously pulling out the filter and taking the very little bits of fluff off it. And I'm going, that's really strange that there's so little lint coming off. And then 2 days ago, I found out why. Because not only do you have to pull it out, but then you open up this thing and guess how much lint was inside it. Mine, it just captures it on the screen. This one, it actually comes in this way, gets caught in like a little box. And I was looking on this side. I didn't know you had to just, anyway. Did I feel stupid? For a split second. And then I thought, I've got to tell Nolan he needs to show people, and then you pull it apart. By the way, I had the disappearing sock. 2 socks went in, only one appeared to come out. I did find it eventually, but it was just like, where did it go? Did it go on vacation? It's not a big apartment. It can't be very far. No problem, Kimmy. Did anybody get angry this week, just as a matter of interest? I really had that split second of it's not fair. I've already had the fire. I don't want this as well when the car thing happened, but that was it. I did decide that I was getting very bored with my clothes choices. So I did buy another outfit. Now, the problem I have is new store, and I bought them in the same size that I would normally buy. This is not part of it, by the way, but I am wearing the pants, and they are a bit too big. I should have really taken them back and got a smaller size, but I can't be bothered. So I'm just wearing them. That's what I wanted them for, is to just have a different color to wear. So I've now got a black pair of, in fact, I bought 2 black pairs of pants. And the reason is because I don't have what I call get dirty clothes. And so I had to think about that. I need 1 pair of sweatpants that I can get dirty in. Like I can go out when it's colder and still be warm, but also it's not going to be a big thing if they get dirty. Yes, exactly. Jody's saying taking the time to tell Nolan is a gift. All right, about the thing. The other thing, what I did, Jody, was I saw that their extractor fan in their bathroom was disgusting. Now, everything else was spotless, but that fan had so much grease and dust on it. And I was hypersensitive to that. So I actually had them clean it. And he was horrified. He said to me, he took it down and he personally cleaned that vent for me. But then while the housekeeping people were here, he took that hose and he said, there's so much up in the ceiling here, Sal. I'm so glad you told me. I said, it's okay. Thank you. So guess what? I'm pretty sure he'll be checking every unit for that now. So anyway, the good news was I got a new outfit. And I bought a color I don't normally wear. I wore it last night, so you probably want to see the color, right? I'll show you tonight. I'll bring it up and show you tonight. It's dirty, but yeah, maybe I can wash it in between. So you understand that I was frustrated that I just had these 3 outfits, and I said, well, the way you stop that frustration is go and buy something else. And now it's about, well, that's a waste of money because I got all these clothes. No, so, it was time for some new things anyway. So just buy things that you will wear and you need. It's very important for your mental health right now. That's my justification. How did it sound to you? So how do you think I felt about the mistake of not having the car properly in park? Did I feel stupid for a split second? But being stupid wasn't going to stop the car. Feeling stupid. And it was a mistake, right? Not one that I'm likely to make again in a hurry. Do you understand that coping with forgiveness was part of the process here? Hanging on to that, being angry at myself, was not going to change anything except my mental health. So this was like, okay, I made a mistake. Don't do that again. So understand that we need to stop beating up on ourselves. Beating up on ourselves does not help anybody. All right? Action helps you. Going on the hamster wheel in your mind does not help you at all. I I was getting fed up of eating bad food, so I went shopping to go get healthy food. Now, I also knew that if I bought healthy food, it would be more to move because I, got enough for over a week. So I've got more stuff that I need to move from point A to point B. I said, it's important I get more healthy food. And I got quite a bit more than I need. So, it's just like, yeah, right, these things happen. So what achievements were there for this week? I have to tell you, my biggest achievement was that I'm still alive again. And there was this incredible comment that Benji, when he heard about the car thing, he wrote to me and he said, "What do you need?" And I don't mind telling you, I wrote back to him and I said, as a human being who has just survived a major fire and also being dragged by her car, I need for the universe to continue to smile on me the way that it has over the last 4 weeks. I need that more than anything. And he wrote back and said, your mentality is amazing. And I'm going, well, I don't know about you guys, but I am very grateful for that. That to me is a major achievement that I survived. And I survived both mentally and physically. All right. And that I've kept control of my fear and I'm just literally one day at a time at the moment. Somebody wants me, on the other thing, somebody wants to mess with my one day at a time. I have to throw the boundary down, which is, I'm sorry, I'm not dealing with that. Jody fell foul of that actually this week because I had made the decision to sell the shed. Once the decision is made, there's no second guessing. I'm not interested in all the rest of it. Decision's made, the shed's going, done. So then Lionel had said to Jody, but, da, 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 da. And I just literally said, it's done. Move on. Because I don't want to now continue the conversation about what my human rights are. By the way, my neighbors said to me, you could take this to the Human Rights Tribunal. And I said, really? I don't need to. I don't need to. I got too much on my mind. I really don't need to go there. I can get rid of the shit. Do you understand? I'm picking my battles to suit me. What causes me less stress? I don't want to be in a court case. Right? I just want to do what I need to do. Now, if they tell me to get rid of my big shed, that'll be a whole different story. Did anybody hit a scam this week? I didn't, that I know of. I do have a money saving tip, by the way. I want you to think, because we're into winter now, if you're in the Northern Hemisphere, we're getting, much colder. I want you all to think about two things. How to cut your energy bill. One is, this, to turn your heat down slightly, maybe 5 degrees, and while you're watching television, have a blankie. Right? I found as well that, think about this, you can save on soap in your washing machine because you actually don't need soap in there every load. Did you know that? You will be horrified. If you've got a washing machine where you can see the wishy-washy going on and the soap suds, throw a black load in without any soap in it and see how many bubbles come to the top. Or, if you've got a front loader, how many bubbles you can see from the front. You'll be amazed how much soap your clothes retain. And therefore, one way of saving just a little bit is don't put soap in every time. So think about that, all right? And by the way, I literally use my foil. I hand wash my foil after I've used it, hand wash it well, and I start packing it into a ball. And that ball I save until my dryer needs a new one. And what I do is I put that ball into a sock and I tie a knot in it and I throw it in, and it acts as my dryer sheet. Now, I must admit, here they supplied the dryer sheet, so I'm using them. So the other thing is, what about the dishwasher? Those of you lucky enough to have a dishwasher, most things just need a quick rinse rather than a full lot-scale wash. I find what I do is I drop my things that are going to go into the dishwasher, I just drop them into a bowl just to lift off most of what's on there. And then I will put them into the dishwasher. When it's totally full, I will literally take my I've got one of those little sponges. I will put one drop of dishwasher on the thing and put it in the dishwasher. Saves a fortune. And my dishes are coming out beautifully. And my question for the week was, why is a fob called a fob? And it was really interesting to me because I knew I should know the answer to that. And I'm going, is it an acronym? Does it stand for something? Or, does it stand for a fancy object, something? Or is it just the word fob? And I did a bit of research, and I thought you'd like to know that a fob is a noun, and it's a chain attached to a watch for carrying in a waistcoat pocket. Do you remember the old days? You had waistcoats, they had that little pocket in it. It was for the fob. It's a fob watch. And the pocket was called a fob pocket. And so it was the chain attached to the fob. Well, the chain was the fob, but it attached to the watch. So it ended up that anything, I thought it was interesting. So that's how we got the name of fob for our keychains, car openers and things. All right, so I am I am delighted that I am here to talk to you this week, obviously. My feelings for the whole week have got to be, more than anything, gratitude. You can probably imagine, right, how grateful I am that I survived yet again. And that I am really, as I said, I am really amazed, would be a feeling, of how many of the things we learned last year I am getting to put into practice this year. And how much more I want to go back to studying more about emotional intelligence and keep bringing it to the group so that, that we can continue to grow like this, because I am pretty sure that the more we learn, the more we will let go of the waste of time stuff, and the happier we will be. I'm definitely a happier person for this. And I had a discussion last night over dinner about somebody was saying, trying to put me on a pedestal about how good a person I was, that I did what I did. And I said, no, really, there's nothing so good about this. I'm not that noble. I learn as much as my viewers do. And some of it I've already learned and I share, but I said, I'm a learner. I love to learn. I don't know about you guys. I love to know that a fob's called a fob for that reason. I love to learn stuff like that. And so to me, it's like doing the vlogs for you helps me a great deal. So for that, I thank you. All right, everybody. So have a wonderful afternoon. And I will see you this evening when we're going to be obviously talking about coping with life. And is there any particular life topic that you would like me to do a broadcast around? And the reason I say that is because this is your opportunity. If you've got a particular issue you'd like me to cover. Kimmy's saying the rec center in my town is offering walking classes. I guess they forgot about what is happening now. I think you can still do walking classes if you're socially distant and careful. So is that what you mean, Kimmy? I'm just trying to make sure I understand you correctly. Most rec centers and so forth will probably be some of the safest places you can be because they are public. They have to abide by all the rules. So I would think you'd probably be as safe there as anywhere. Or you can choose not to. As I said, I learned this from somebody who lived in Maine, funny enough, that if ever you want to walk in the winter, go to a mall. Because malls are normally open, late at night or whatever. When I say open, you can get into the area. If you walk a whole mall, it's a long way. I don't mean in and out of the shops that will be closed, but actually all around the mall itself. And I know a lot of walking groups that actually go to malls early in the morning and late at night. Why? It's heated and it's it's easy to walk. So think about that. Think about what you can do, not what you can't. I am looking forward to getting the Wii. I need to get my steps up. I definitely have been more sedentary since I've been here, and that needs to stop. So thank you all for being here. Thank you all for helping everybody, not just yourself. And I am amazed when I get the emails and things from people. I wanted to find out whether you like the fact that I put up a couple of short videos this week. And, I keep thinking that I will, for example, I think take that short one about the masks, the shields, and turn that into one so that other people can see they are available now if you want them. And I think it's important for people to know. It just makes such a difference to our mental health when, you can literally, I know that I hear so much better. All right. I hear so much better because I can lip read. And that's the whole thing with me. And part of the reason I got a second one is so I can give it to somebody else if necessary. Because that's another thing. I can give a shield to somebody and say, could you put that on and then tell me so I can lip read? Think about that. All right, everybody. Have a super afternoon. We'll see you this evening. If anybody's got a topic, speak now or forever hold your peace, and I will pick one myself. And what helped you today? I always like to know, was it worth doing this broadcast? Was there something in this broadcast? Was it the masks, the shields? What is it that you need to get? Well, Jody, the other thing is this, that as you know, what took a lot of time was the uploading, not only the editing, but the uploading of the vlogs. And so now that I've got this super fast upload, I can save a lot of time. All right, so Kimmy's saying, yes, I would love to be around people, but not chance getting COVID. We were just warned by the doctors here because no one wears masks or distances. Okay, so and Sandy's saying definitely the shields. Okay, that you guys didn't know that they were available, right? And now we know they're available at Walmart and at Amazon. Good. And I was pretty sure they must be coming in because I got them. When I ordered mine? In January. that was the joke. I actually, as soon as I heard there was a pandemic in the offing, before it really hit North America, when I knew it was in China, I don't mind telling you, I immediately ordered N95 masks and I ordered the shield. And people said to me, but we were told not to buy the N95 mask. I said, not in January. Not in January. I didn't, nobody had said you couldn't buy those N95 masks. And I ordered mine directly from China. And so, it was really interesting to me that I was that far ahead. As soon as I heard about it, I ordered, knowing that it would take months for them to get to me. Kimmy, by the time you think about it, it'll be too late, because as soon as I finish this broadcast, I will come up with a topic and start working on it. I've only got a few hours to do that. So I will, as soon as I disconnect here, I will be picking a topic. All right, this is DearMamaSal saying thank you so much for being here. And remember that we all have feelings, and they're good, not good or bad. They're good and bad. But how much time we waste with them is a choice. I am not saying don't have feelings. It is perfectly normal to have feelings. The difference is deal with them and move on as quickly as you can. You will have so much more time in your day. You will have so much more happiness in your day. And Kimmy's saying COVID is getting worse in our county and town. Yes, everybody's. Kimmy, it's getting worse in my county and town. Way worse. All right? So we all just need to deal with it. We can either live in fear or we can be careful and do the best we can. And also understand that we may or may not get it. And I know you're very high risk, Kimmy, because of your asthma and everything else. And I think it's wonderful that you have a treadmill. I definitely would suggest, if you wouldn't mind, Kimmy, start reporting how much time you spend on your treadmill or the steps that you're doing on your treadmill. All right, so we can support you in that, in the fitness group. Because there's not much point in being part of the fitness group if you're not going to be accountable for what you're doing, right? And Kimmy's saying we were at the hospital in the room when we heard about the first case in the same hospital. Yeah, and that's scary stuff. But again, remember that even getting it doesn't mean it's a death sentence. Even if you have pre-existing conditions, because there are some people that, of course it's getting worse, Kimmy, it's the fall. We knew it was going to get worse, honey. You've been prepared, not scared about that for a long time. So just don't panic about it. We knew it was going to get worse. It's normal for it to get worse in the fall, because people are starting to come inside and it will spread more. All right, because people that aren't properly protecting themselves. So this is the whole thing. It is getting worse, but not just for you, for everybody. All right, so be careful. But think about worrying yourself sick about it is going to do you more harm than good. That is my point. Yeah? Jody could spend her day panicking about it getting worse. She has to send Lionel out to go shopping and do things, and he could be picking it up anyway. Seriously. All you can do is the best you can do. Keep washing your hands. Keep social distancing. Only go out when you have to or when you choose to. If you go out and socialize, keep it within a bubble of people that you trust to be pretty careful. And, keep protecting yourself. As I said, I was in shock that the cleaning crew came in without masks on. And, I will not let that happen again. So But the question is this: if I'm not in the house, will they come in without masks anyway? If I'm not here to watch it. Jody's saying, being in panic will only lower my immune system. I'm staying in positivity and gratitude. Yes, I want to make sure that you can all turn around and say, I lived through the pandemic of 2020, 21, I think. Yes, and Kimmy's saying, I'm going to do stuff via the soul with my daughter. Yes. Part of the reason I enjoy going over to Betty Ann and Brian's, right, is because we all do the we together. We bowl and we do stuff, right? It's a social activity, but it's a very small hub of 4 people. That's it, right? and we get together once a week at least. Sometimes this week it was twice, but it's the same 4 people. Now, it's like, how big is your bubble? There's a risk in everything we do. There's a risk of getting in my car every day, but I still do it. So what I'm saying to you is be careful. No, Kimmy, don't try to remember. Make it part of your routine. I'm about to go on the treadmill. How many steps? Let me record it. I'm on the treadmill. When I come off the treadmill, let me check my steps and record it. Now let me report it to the fitness group. You see, you need that. You don't think about opening and closing your eyes. I get up in the morning, Kimmy. The very first thing I do with my first cup of coffee is to, you always know what sort of time I wake up, because as I'm having my first cup of coffee, by the first sip, I already have taken my blood glucose. I already have checked my steps and everything for the day before. That's the first thing I do before I do emails or anything. It's the first thing I do. All right. And that is a routine. If I don't have the routine, I probably will forget to do it. So I don't try to report every day. Kimmy, listen to this very carefully. I don't try to report every day. I report every day. Hi, Jeannie, we're just going. Do you understand the difference, Kimmy? It's not a try for me. Jody, how long have we had the fitness group? I want to tell you, I think at most I have, and Jody's saying Sal hasn't missed a day reporting. I think I might have done when I was away, when my routine is missed. But other than that, no, I've reported every day. Sandy's saying, I always worry about disturbing others by reporting early. Then don't report early, but get the information early. This is Sandy. What can you do? You can get all that information early and then post it at midday. But I thank you for that kindness. Right. So I just want to get sure that Kimmy understands this. There is a difference between trying to do something and doing it. I'm going to try and do it means I'm not really committed to it. When you say, I am going to do that every day now, that makes a difference. All right. So see if you can do it for a week. And I don't know how many times you get on your treadmill. You might only get on your treadmill twice a week. But here's the thing. If you get on it, part of getting on the treadmill is I start by recording my steps. I do the treadmill, I get off, I record the steps, and I put that somewhere so I can now report that in. And you know how much kudos you're going to get for doing that. This is DearMamaSal saying, we will see you this evening. I've got work to do on tonight's broadcast.